It was December 2022 and 6 theory papers and 3 practicals later, I was finally done with second prof. I got to go home and relax, and that's when I thought that I'll do the STS project, and that led to this.
And it goes like this. We get your car and you need to kiss me. We talk for hours and lay on the backseat. And when we're back the night when everything changes, you and I will go back to street.
Hey everyone, I am Naomi, a final year medical student from AIMS Patna, and today, the 12th of May 2024, I finally, after 1 year and 4 months of working on this, I got to submit my report of my ICMR STS project. Jesus Christ. Alright, we're back up now. But yes, so throughout this 1 year of me doing this project, I got a lot of messages from my juniors, also from people who follow me on my studygram about how should we pick the topic, whom should we approach, what year should we do it in, which subject should we do it in, and all of that. And although I've been replying to those DMs now and then, I still felt like I should first get done with the whole research project and submit my report in order to be fully experienced and eligible to answer these questions. So today I'm going to do just that. So this video is supposed to be a guide which first explains what ICMR STS project is, what are the timelines like roughly, what are the different steps that you have to take for it, how I approached it, what went through my mind while doing this, and how you should approach it. And also, back when I started to think of doing this, I didn't really find a video that was comprehensive enough and told everything about ICMR STS online. The website itself has a lot of information for sure, but I feel like knowing it from somebody who has done it firsthand feels a lot more reassuring. So I hope this video can be that for you. So let's begin. Okay, so first of all, what is ICMR? ICMR is the Indian Council of Medical Research, and they basically started this thing called the short-term studentship. And what that means, basically, let's just simplify it. It's basically something that they started to encourage us undergraduates to pursue research in our MBBS times, because doing research during your undergraduate years might feel very intimidating, might feel like, oh my god, this is really difficult. How will I do it on my own? I don't even know anything to begin with. So how do I do research? So this is basically there just for that. So what you basically do in a nutshell is that you approach one of your professors who obviously might be into research already, and then you approach them and you tell them that, sir, ma'am, I have this in mind. I want to do the ICMR STS project. It is blah blah blah, in case they don't know about it. And then would you like to help me out for it? And so if they are okay with it, they will say yes, and then you will start working on a research project. And throughout this 1 year, you will be under them and they'll be your guide, and you'll be basically doing the whole research project under them. Now, I'll be telling you how to approach this by telling you how I did it. So I'll be telling you what I did during my time so that you can sort of use that as a guide for how to approach it. So basically my second year profs had just gotten over and I was at home on my post-prof vacation, and that's when I was already thinking of doing a research project, because first I wanted to write USMLE and go to the US for residency and stuff, which I have now dropped. But at that time I was still thinking I would do that, and so I thought third year is a good year basically to do this. So now that brings me to my first point. What is the best time for doing ICMR STS? A lot of people say you can do it from first year itself, and I agree, it is true that you can do it from first year itself, but I feel like it will not be as fruitful as doing it in second or third year. Because look, in first year you're just here from school, you probably don't know the R of research, you probably don't know the A of anatomy, the P of physiology. Basically the point is you do not know anything as of now. And so what are you going to research on if you don't have the knowledge base? I mean, you still can do research, like, don't get me wrong, you can do it, but what you'll probably be doing is just following whatever your guide says, or just using one of their research projects as your STS project. You'll go to them and you'll be like, could you please help me out? And they'll give you an idea, and then you'll take their idea and do a research. You can do a little bit of a research related course already online and stuff. That is easy to understand in first year, but then you'll not fully be involved in the research that you yourself are doing. And I feel like you should be a little bit involved in it. I personally feel that it would be nice if you yourself come up with the research question and then suggest it to the guide, and then let them help you tweak your idea a little bit and give you suggestions. That's what happened in my case. I went to my guide and told her, ma'am, I want to do a research project on so and so, and then she gave me suggestions and gave me her inputs and refined what I already was thinking. So I feel like those thoughts will not come unless you have at least entered second year. So once you're in second year, you have done anatomy, physiology, biochemistry, and physio and biochem especially are good subjects for you to do an STS project on in second year, and at that time you already have attended classes of your first year. You know which professor is good, you know which professor you feel like you want to approach, and you know which professor is probably into research and all of that. So you can be more involved in the research in that case. Otherwise, if you do it in first year, you're just going to be the puppet of your guide, and you'll probably just do boring stuff like sample collection and all of that. And yeah, overall you'll not be that involved in your own research project, is the point that I'm trying to drive. So the best time in my opinion is to do your STS project in second or third year. When you're in second year, you can do your STS project in any of the 3 subjects like anat, physio or biochem under one of your professors. And in third year you have endless options. You can do it in math, pharma, micro as well, or you can even do it in your ongoing subjects like ENT, ophthalmology, CFM, etc. as you learn. Final year again gets too hectic, and by that time you have a lot of things to do. You start thinking of your entrances, prepare for your final prof, you have so many postings to go. It's a lot to already deal with, and then trying to do an STS project on top of that is going to be a huge problem. So second and third year is the best time. At the end of my vacation, my professor had asked me to come meet her, and so I did. And the thing is that in second year in our CFM postings, we had already done a little research project. Our entire posting was research based, so we all as a group did a little cross-sectional study using Google Forms and stuff like that. But since I was sort of leading that research project, so that had me gain a little bit of experience. Also at that time I had suggested the research project idea myself, so I decided that I will tweak it a little bit. It was a cross-sectional study earlier, and this time I wanted to make it a experimental study. So I went and met her, and then I also told mom that, mom, honestly, if you think this is not doable, or you think there are better ideas, if you have any ideas in mind, please do let me know. And so she was like, no, you know what, we'll just do what you want, because this is supposed to be a project for you to learn, and it would be really good if you end up doing a project that you came up with. So we'll stick to this, we're going ahead with this. So I ended up doing a research on the effect of basic life support training on willingness in performing bystander hands-only cardiopulmonary resuscitation in selected government high school students in Patna. So I have always been passionate about CPR, chest compressions. Dr. Mike has always ingrained chest compressions in my head and the importance. And I always felt like there is a need to incorporate this in the curriculums of the school going students of our country, because out of hospital cardiac arrests are so common, and providing chest compressions in CPR increases their survival rates to so much that every single lay person in our country should know how to provide CPR. Obviously, it's not possible to make every single person learn CPR right now, but over the next few years, you can make a change by at least teaching students in schools how to do CPR, so that the more students that get trained, it feeds into more adult population and young adult population who know how to provide CPR. That in turn will increase survival rates of patients who have out of hospital cardiac arrest. They don't have to wait until a paramedical staff reaches there and provides chest compression, when a person's lying right there would have provided those chest compressions. So I wanted to show that the willingness of performing an effective CPR would increase if you train these students. We basically narrowed down on this. So this is basically a part of increasing public health awareness, right? So I decided to approach CFM department. So now comes the second question of how to select your research project and how to select which department you're going to work under. So first of all, how to select your research project? My suggestion would be that you think of a research project on your own. The easiest thing to do is a cross-sectional study, and also to find out correlation between two things. For example, let's say if getting adequate sleep translates to having good mood, these are two different things, sleep and good mood. You're trying to find out a relationship between these two. So when you're reading your textbooks, think of why for everything, or when you're strolling, think of how two things could be related, and you could probably come up with an interesting research project. And it's that simple, honestly. Or even if you have burning questions in your mind about things when you're studying, you can think of researching about it. Right now, once you've done that, you can approach the department that is related to that. So suppose you're doing something for kids who have pneumonia, then you go to PDR department, find out from your JRs or SRs or whoever, or just about which professor is into research. In our case, our AIIMS Patna website has a detailed information about every professor's research. Now the other case is if you do not know what to do, your professors will be more than happy to help you out with the topic. So if they have given you a suggestion, then you have to do a little bit background research, do review of literature. You have to see whether similar research has been done in the past, and for that you'll have to be well versed with PubMed, use Google Scholar and all of that. You basically have to find out similar research that has been done in the past and check for gaps and loopholes in the literature, in the sense that if this much portion of research has been done on your topic, what is lacking, what is yet to be researched, you can pick on that and make your research about that. For example, in my case, there was a lot of research done on this in China, Malaysia, Korea, but in India, research on this was really lacking, and the socioeconomic setting of India is completely different from the countries in which this research has already been done. So I wanted to do this research in an Indian setting, because in India, like we know, there are a lot of superstitions, there are a lot of myths that might come in the way of people wanting to give chest compressions or mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. That was the loophole that I found. Now simultaneously, you should be looking at the timeline of STS and check for the application date. You have to basically register on their website once the portal is on, and then you have to fill this thing called the application attestation form. You have to create a proposal, the format for which is on their website as well. You'll have to write the title, the introduction. So what is your primary and secondary objective? What is your methodology going to be like? How you're going to do the data analysis, and what you are aiming to find out through this. This is your proposal. So you're pitching to ICMR that, okay, I want to do a research on this. Would you like to fund me? To write down the data analysis part, you will have to take help of CFM department or PSM, whatever you call in your college. Or if your professor is well versed with it, then good enough. They can help you out with this as well. Now, after you've created your proposal, you're going to be uploading it on their website. And after you upload it, you're done. All you have to do now is wait for the results to come. What happens is that a lot of people submit this proposal, and a select around 1000 to 1500 people are selected and now are allowed to do the research under it. The thing is, you shouldn't get disheartened if your proposal isn't accepted and you still think your research idea is quite good. And if your professor is supportive enough, then you can continue doing the research, because honestly, the first inertia of doing a research project is coming up with a proposal and formatting how you'll go through your research. And once you've created a draft of how you'll go about it, you're already halfway there. It's now just time to go ahead and execute the research, collect your samples, and do all of it. So if you have reached this point, you can still continue doing your research. But for those who get selected, you just have an additional benefit of doing it. You're obviously bound within a time frame, and you have to do it within that time frame and upload it. So it basically fast tracks your research project. You have no time to slack off, and you have to finish it within that 1 year and upload it and get done. And by the end of it, you have a report, and you can make a paper out of it, you can present it, you can publish it, do whatever you want to do. Now, before you start doing that, you have to obtain an ethics committee approval. So every single college has their own institutional ethics committee, and they conduct meetings, and your proposal is basically pitched in that meeting as well, and the feasibility of it is checked, and whether it is ethical is checked by a board of people. And once they give you the approval, they give you a certificate, and you can go ahead and do your research. So the thing is that you'll have to make sure that the research time is dated for 2 months after your ethics committee approval has been obtained. Before that, you cannot start. Now, in general, research projects are done over months and years probably, but since this is a short-term studentship, you have to finish this within 2 months. And so it's always best if you choose a research project that is doable within these 2 months. So personally, I've seen a lot of people whose research project either got rejected or they themselves could not carry forward the research because it was so hectic for them to do it within these 2 months. And now if within these 2 months you end up having exams as well, then good luck, bro. You're not going to be able to finish it, and you're going to leave it midway, and you'll not be able to submit it on time. Sure, you can do it later out of the STS time frame, but since you got your proposal accepted, why not do it, right? And get it done with completely. So in my case, my project was pretty simple. All I had to do is train the 678 students that was there in my sample size. I had to go to 2 schools and provide them CPR training, which was itself really fun. And I basically administered a pre-training questionnaire which assessed them on a lot of parameters like their knowledge, their self-assessed confidence score, their awareness, and their willingness to perform bystander CPR. And then I provided them the training, after which I administered the same questionnaire again to see their post-event outcome, and I analyzed the change between them. So look, I just had to go and provide them training over 3-4 days and conduct around 15 sessions of CPR training. So it was very doable. My whole research itself was done within 3 to 4 days. The whole activity itself was done within 3 to 4 days. Now all I had left was to analyze. If you choose a project that is doable like this within 2 months, and even then, if you have to collect a bunch of samples, it should be executable within these 2 months. That's what I'm trying to say. Now you have to do this research between these 2 months, and then you wait for them to open up the STS report submission portal. Now, how do you do the report? Again, you will need help of your CFM department or your professor who is into statistical analysis, or if you yourself have taken courses and you have the knowledge of how to use the applications and softwares like Jamovi and IBM, SPSS, etc., then you can do it yourself. And once you get all the tables and all of that, you have to use the format that again is there on the website currently as well. Using that format, you create your report, and finally you upload the report, right? So now, how to write the proposal itself, what you can do is you can take help of sample proposals that you might find on. I found a really good one. KGMU Lucknow, some senior from there had done an STS project and their proposal was available online. So I had gone through their proposals. I also read a bunch of research papers by then, and I knew sort of how research papers go, how they are structured, how they are written. But seeing that proposal helped me understand a bit more better how to write a proposal, and with the help of that and a few other such samples, I wrote mine, and the same basically happened with the report as well. The suggestion that I have that my professor gave is a really good suggestion, is that when you're carrying out the project itself, maintain a diary. So basically, like how you write a diary entry of how your day went by, the same way you have to make a diary entry of how your that day's research went, what obstacles came, how did you mitigate that. All of that has to be written. You'll not remember what you did because this is happening over such a long time, like over a year, and you literally forget what happened last month, last week. So imagine writing a report of something that you have researched on, or something that you've done 3-4 months back, right? I had a small folder on my notes app in which I jotted every single thing that I did every day, and then typing out became a little bit tedious, so I had a WhatsApp group on my phone in which I used to send voice recordings to myself, and then I used to say aisa hua aaj, and this happened, this is how I did this, and at the end of it I had a very detailed account that I would not forget, obviously, and then I wrote down my methodology that way. So in a nutshell, your guide is your solution to everything. Choose a really good guide who is supportive, who is helpful, and so yeah, that's about it. If you all have any questions, you can follow me on my Studygram, that is Naomi's_Studygram, and you can ask me questions there. Thanks for watching. I hope this helped. Oh my god, and I completely forgot to tell the main part. I was in a hurry to finish the recording because it was getting really hot, but after you're done with your research project, you submit the report, and then after you submit your report, your reports are analyzed, and you get a stipend of rupees 25,000 per month. So you get a 50,000 rupees stipend, which is supposed to be for you. It's not supposed to be for the guide or shared with them. And also throughout the research, whatever expenses that have to be borne will have to be borne by the hospital itself, by the college itself, and they have to support you throughout this whole thing. But still, in general, I would suggest that you do such a project in which there is minimal expenses, because obviously, like, practically it's difficult to get money for your research if it takes a lot of money. So at the end you basically get a 50,000 stipend if your report is liked, and also your report is basically graded ABC. You are given a grade, and then you're given a certificate as well. So yeah, that's it. So this is the end of it. Bye bye.